Make sure to follow my Instagram at Marspeed_official, where I'll answer all your questions and DMs.
Hey guys, so I've been wanting to do this topic for quite a while now, but there have been many cars over the last few decades that Dodge has designed and produced, even unveiling them at auto shows, only to cancel them and totally put them out of sight and out of mind. So that's today's topic. We're going to be looking at 4 awesome concept car ideas from Dodge that either failed or weren't carried out because of financial or practical reasons, and we're going to bring those concept ideas back to light, showing what could have been. Pretty cool to think that these cars could have been all over the roads and even in some of our driveways if things had gone right. And if you guys do want a part 2 or part 3, let me know, because this video was super fun to make and there's a ton of different concept ideas out there.
First up on the list is the Dodge Copperhead, a front-engine, rear-wheel drive, 2-seat roadster convertible. The Copperhead was unveiled at the 1997 North American International Auto Show in Detroit, and it was basically supposed to be a slimmed-down version of the Dodge Viper for buyers that couldn't afford it, since the Viper cost over $75,000 US. The Copperhead was only going to be $30,000 US, so it was basically the poor man's Viper, and was set to be released in 2000. The color you see is Copper Fire Orange, which actually changed to a different shade of orange from almost every angle. Dodge says that this was a great driver's car, opposite from the Viper, which was just a crazy power machine. The Copperhead actually had great handling with a low, wide stance, longer wheelbase, 5 inches of ground clearance, and a stiff suspension, making this car marketed towards enthusiasts. The wheels were 18 inches with a staggered setup, 225s up front and 255s in the back. On the outside there was an air scoop grille, deep quad headlamps, sloped windshield, and a rear fin, which added to the many twists and turns on the car. The interior has contoured bucket seats, and a lot of the gauges were placed in the center of the car, so if you look at it from a bird's eye view, the interior looks like the head of a copperhead snake. Looking at the performance, the engine was a 2.7-liter V6 that made 220 horsepower and 188 pound-feet of torque, not too bad for a car that weighed about 2,800 pounds. Unfortunately, the 0 to 60 was only 6.8 seconds. There was also a 5-speed manual and a top speed of 135 miles per hour. The car actually appeared in Gran Turismo 1 and 2 video games, but then it got cancelled. Honestly, this just didn't seem like it was ever going to work. If V6 Charger and Challenger owners get taunted all day long, imagine Copperhead owners. This was basically a poor man's Viper that was not fast, and just looked very awkward and unaesthetic from many angles with weird curves and body shapes, in my opinion. It's really cool to see a concept car like this, but I certainly wouldn't buy one. The car also reminds me of the Pontiac Solstice, which was produced later for 2006 to 2010. Moving on to number 2, we have the Dodge M80. This was a small, affordable truck introduced at the 2002 North American International Auto Show, and it would have had a price tag of about $15,000. Dodge was going for a modern representation of their 1930s and 40s truck with this thing, and they said they designed this truck for millennials, calling it a real hot pickup truck. The exterior has the classic Dodge crosshair grille, round headlights, fender vents, push-button door handles, integrated plastic side storage lockers, dual spin-off fuel filler caps, and 20-inch wheels with 265mm tires. Looking around the back, there was a 5-foot bed, and the tailgate had Dodge and 4x4 stamped through it. The back window was also a flipper glass that could swing open to allow for cargo room if it was too long to fit in the bed. There was also a dual exhaust pipes and round taillights. Looking on inside the truck, there's a very basic and durable interior. It sure looks like it. It's very, very plain, but also classic and overall kind of half-decent looking. There was lots of body-colored panels, knobs to control the audio and heat, and classic ball and socket vents for airflow, so everything you see was basically useful. The seats were water repellent, the center console was a portable cooler, there was extra storage everywhere, and the seats could be taken out of the truck to sit outside like a lawn chair. The M80 was based on the Dodge Dakota body frame, and under the hood, Chrysler was going to put their new 3.7-liter V6 that cranked out just 210 horsepower, but also 235 pound-feet of torque. Again, not bad considering the truck only weighed about 2,500 pounds. The M80 also had a 5-speed manual and was all-wheel drive, but the truck really was not designed to go fast. The top speed is only 100 miles per hour, and the 0 to 6 is about 8 seconds. Honestly, in my opinion, this concept was a really awesome design. I can't believe how practical it is, while still looking pretty damn good. I guess Dodge didn't need to put out another truck when they had Dakota and Ram selling like crazy during this time, so they didn't end up making it. And if the M80 does look familiar to you, it might be because a lot of the features were carried over to the Dodge Nitro, which was built around 2007 to 2012. Okay, so now we get to number 3 on the list, the Dodge Razor. This was a bit of an interesting story, as the car was a partnership between Dodge and Razor Scooters, who actually created part of the car. It was first unveiled at the 2002 North American International Auto Show, along with the M80. and this was a period of time where Dodge really didn't have too many exciting cars, unlike today, so this probably would have been a hot seller for young driving enthusiasts, since it had a starting price of a super cheap $14,500, and also looked super eye-catching with its orange slice color. The cheap price, though, meant that this was a totally bare-bones car with very few features. It had no power windows, mirrors, seats, or even radio. Dodge chose to focus on performance instead. The 2.4-liter inline 4-cylinder engine came with a turbocharger and intercooler, making a really solid 250 horsepower and 230 pound-feet of torque, along with a 6-speed manual transmission and rear-wheel drive. For a car that was 2,500 pounds, this meant a 0 to 60 in a respectable 6 seconds flat and a top speed of 140 miles per hour. Another fun fact was that there was 2 orange Razor scooters that came in place of the spare tire to celebrate the partnership with Razor. In my opinion, this little coupe was so cool. The performance is absolutely fantastic for the price, and it would have been super popular for young kids buying their first or second car like myself, who wanted some speed and a good driving car. Plus, it almost looks exotic and would have been just such a good deal. I would have loved to see these on the road, so it's too bad that they never made it to the assembly line. Now we move on to the last car on this list, the Dodge Sidewinder, officially called the Dodge Dakota Sidewinder. It was first shown off at the 1997 SEMA show in Las Vegas. This is a crazy hybrid combination of a coupe sports car, truck, and convertible. Oh, and it also had the Viper gts-r V10 engine under the hood. This was actually in the pickup truck class and was a two-door coupe utility. The styling was taken from trucks of the past and had a very free-flowing design, including a bucket-shaped cab, which kind of gave it a muscular jaw look. To get this free-flowing design, there are no door handles, big bumpers, or trim pieces anywhere, just the famous Dodge-looking grille. The wheels are also a big part of the visual design. They're supposed to have a crazy staggered setup, with 21x8 front rims with 225s, and 22x11 rears with 305s stock. The exterior is painted metal, swept through the interior as well. The fabrics and seats were all covered in purple leather, but otherwise the interior was pretty simplistic, basically like an open-air cockpit. A really interesting thing Dodge did was make it a bit complex to turn on the engine, because they wanted it to feel like you were doing something special when you turned on the truck. To start the engine, you have to flip a switch called arm, which activates the fuel pump, and then press another switch called ignite, which would start it. Pretty damn cool. The Sidewinder's engine is just as awesome as everything else. As I said, it had the Viper gts-r engine, which was an 8-liter V10. With this beast, you were getting 640 horsepower and 530 pound-feet of torque, along with a 4-speed automatic transmission and rear-wheel drive. The specs were very impressive, especially for 2002, with a top speed of 170 miles an hour and a 0 to 60 time of 3.9 seconds, which is fairly close to today's Hellcats. This was named one of the best ever concept vehicles in SEMA history. There's not too much for me to say about this thing. If you like cars, you'll know that this is mind-blowing and more amazing than I can even say. Power and unique looks, this has it all. Unfortunately, this was never designed with mass production in mind, and I guess it wouldn't be a car that appeals to the masses and would only work as a limited production type of thing. Although this didn't make it, let's not forget about the Ram SRT10, which also had a Viper V10 engine and was available for sale from 2004 to 2006. Well guys, you've made it to the end of this list. As I said at the start of the video, this was a really fun video to make. I learned a lot about concept cars that I barely knew about, and it was so cool to see what was out there during these years. Hope you enjoyed exploring these 4 concepts as much as I did. Overall, it seems to be that Dodge was focusing on giving these models really unique designs and making them eye-catching, but with very boring and basic interiors, as is to be expected from Dodge during this time frame. Let me know which was your favorite, and if you want more Dodge concept car videos. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe for more Mopar and car content.